You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, a 75-year breakfast tradition in Pittsburgh continues.
Also, with Christmas just around the corner, we'll look at how to pick out the perfect tree.
And we got cloudy skies, cold temperatures to start the day. We will start clearing out, though, heading into the afternoon. Details on your forecast coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's just after 7 o'clock now on this Monday, December the 8th. Happy Monday to everybody. I hope they had a good weekend. We made it through not the first technically full week of December because the first was on a Monday, but now we're moving into that full week of December. We're making it. But it's a reminder, holiday season is really here.
Yeah, it's quickly approaching, and with the holiday season in full swing, organizations all around the 4 states are giving back to their communities.
With some traditions dating back decades. For the last 75 years, the Kiwanis Club in Pittsburgh has been serving pancakes to the community.
KOAM's Mitch Adams visited the pancake feed and brings us more details.
75 years has passed since the first Kiwanis Club pancake feed in Pittsburgh. The feed, which acts as a fundraiser for the club, has lived on through generations since it first begun.
We've got multi-generations here. Some of them came with their grandparents when they were little, and now they're bringing their kids and grandkids.
For a $7 ticket, you receive a plate of pancakes, a side of sausage, a drink, and live entertainment from local musicians. Putting together Pancake Day is a real effort and something that can take a full year's worth of planning.
It's truly a team effort, and it starts as soon as the pancake feed's over with today. Then we'll start on next year's pancake feed, and it truly takes 12 months to get ready for the next pancake feed.
Organizers say that apart from a nice hot breakfast and socialization in the community, they hope people that came have a better understanding of what the club does for the public.
Hopefully they are more aware of what Kiwanis is and what we do. We are all about children. We're all about families.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Kansas, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
Having plenty of hands in the community, Pittsburgh's Kiwanis Club also offers scholarships and grants to students in the area.
Certainly very, very cool up there. And as we mentioned, it's only one of so many organizations in our area that's been giving back, really since Thanksgiving. There were a lot of Thanksgiving dinners that were for free for those who needed a meal. And I know we'll have a lot of other great things. Another great thing we have is our Feed the 4 States campaign on Fox 14 and our Toy Box campaign on KOAM, where we help out as much as we can as well.
And we have our second Toy Box telethon of the year tomorrow. So
yes, we do. Starting at noon. Make sure you tune in. And today, a great day to tune in to anything, so long as you're inside, because it's going to be cold again. I mean, it's cold now. It's not going to do a lot of warming. Let's start with our live look downtown Pittsburgh. Man, yesterday was so cloudy for so long. I was ready, I thought it was time for bed at 2:45 in the afternoon. That's the thing I don't like about the winter too. Not just the cold air, but we get a lot of these days where it's just cloudy all day. It doesn't do anything. It's cloudy, so it looks outside, and then it's cold, so you don't want to go outside anyway, and then, by noon 30 or so, you're ready to go back to bed. But the good news is these skies that we're seeing here will clear out. Of course, KDOT camera 69-400 looking along 171. We'll head to the MoDOT camera 32nd in range line in Joplin, looking good as well so far this morning. Like I said, traffic's moving. That's always a good thing. I mean, they're stopped, I imagine, because the light's red, but still, no accidents out there this morning. Good way to start the day. Let's keep it that way. However, it is cold. Those cars there and these cars here and any cars we see here probably have the heat on, because look at that. 29 in Joplin, 28 in Pittsburgh. We've got mid-upper 20s for most of us, but on our southwestern corner of the area, we do have some low 30s. Chautauqua is the warm spot right now, sitting at 33 degrees, so not significantly warm, but warm nonetheless compared to 24, 25. Now our skies will clear as we head into the afternoon and evening, eventually going with clear skies by this afternoon. Southwest winds 5 to 10. They'll begin picking up a bit by late evening, and that does a couple of things. One, it brings us wind chills tonight of 20 to 25 degrees, but two, it slows down our temperature drop this evening, which which we'll show you a little later. All right, upper 20s by 9, mid 30s by noon, upper 30s, low 40s for our highs. And again, by this afternoon, southwest winds 5 to 10. So another pretty chilly day. Those southwest winds, though, like I said, not only do they slow this drop down, they also bring us warmer weather. Details on that in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. Yesterday, the holiday spirit was in the air in Carl Junction. The community gathered for the annual Christmas parade presented by the CJ Lions Club. Lineup began at 1 p.m. on Broadway between the schools, with the parade kicking off at 2 p.m. Residents and visitors alike saw an afternoon filled with lights, laughter, and community celebration as families came together to enjoy the festive event. The Bronson community came together for a long-standing tradition, supporting the volunteer fire department. Funds raised will help add more LED lights to their trucks, making them safer and more visible during the nighttime emergencies. The event featured silent auction items donated by local organizations, along with door prizes like fire extinguishers and smoke detectors. While middle schoolers from across the Forest States region gathered at MSSU for the Campus Academy Network's quarterly holiday celebration. Comics, cocoa, and candy canes featured award-winning author Grant Snyder. Snyder gave insights about his creative process inside student books, while kids also participated in gingerbread house making and Pictionary. The holiday spirit continued across state lines in Scammon, Kansas. The annual Scammon Christmas Parade kicked off at 4 p.m. with floats, festive decorations, and even a visit from Santa himself. After the parade, families gathered at City Hall for refreshments and a chance to celebrate together. The event provided the community with a chance to welcome the holiday season and share in some festive fun. Well, the barn at Timber Cove was buzzing as more than 50 local vendors set up shop for the annual holiday market. The event gives folks a chance to wrap up that last-minute Christmas shopping, all while supporting small businesses. Shoppers found a little bit of everything from handcrafted woodwork and local honey to kids' toys and other unique items you can't get just anywhere.
My favorite part is just seeing the passion that all these vendors have. There's tons of people here that I've known for several years, and I've been able to build a relationship with them, and they keep coming back year after year. It's been a great thing for me. But you know, just seeing what they have to create and what they're passionate about, it's really fun to see.
Organizers say it's becoming a tradition and a great way to keep holiday dollars right here in the community. Well, whether you get it out of a box or go to a farm, finding the perfect Christmas tree is a must this time of year. With Christmas just around the corner, Christmas tree farms are gearing up to sell trees to families across the 4 states. KLAM's Mitch Adams spoke with a local Christmas tree farmer to find out more information.
Christmas is close enough that you can already almost hear the jingle bells. This means that it's time to get the Christmas tree put up and decorated. But what's the difference between a real tree and a fake tree?
The biggest difference that we try to push here is the memories that you make. You don't hear many memories and people telling stories about the time they took the Christmas tree out of a box. It's always when they went out in the field, cut down a tree, or went through the pre-cut lot, chose that perfect tree, and took it home. So that's what we're trying to do here.
Many people may not know about some safety issues that come along with Christmas trees, fake or real, and what to avoid to stay safe this Christmas season.
The biggest safety issue versus fake and real, obviously, is a heat source of a real tree. You want to consider where you put that real tree in your house. You don't want it near an open flame, obviously, for obvious reasons. Real trees are perfectly safe if you know what you're doing and you follow the guidelines that are there.
All in all, no matter what Christmas tree you buy, Johnson Family Farm says it's hard to compare the experience of finding that perfect real tree for your home.
It is about creating memories year after year. I mean, we have families come back year after year, and we get to see the kids grow up, and they tell stories about last year's tree, or you know, it's a fun experience, and we really are wanting them to create memories that they can pass down from generation to generation.
Reporting in Webb City, Missouri, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
According to the National Christmas Tree Association, decorating trees is a fairly new concept, with many historians agreeing that it only dates back to the mid-1800s. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, Lori Langley is in the studio showing us her recipe for cookies and cream cookies. Well, welcome back. Lori Langley's joining us in the studio today where she's showing us her recipe for cookies and cream cookies.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Happy Monday. We are rolling right through. Just a few days left really until Christmas, so we've got to get on this. This recipe today is going to be such a good one for those cookie exchange parties that we're all probably going to, or those last minute gifts. So simple. Just a few pre-steps. So in our first segment, we got all of our ingredients ready. We took some chocolate sandwich cookies, separated that filling out so that we're just crushing up the chocolate cookie part. And we also chopped up some cookies and cream candy bar pieces and got those into pretty small pieces. Kind of think of like chocolate chip size that you want to bite into. So for our actual cookie dough, we're just going to make this so simple, and we're going to start with a white cake mix. So that's got all of our leaveners, our sugar, our flour, everything already in there. So it's just a great time saver when it comes to a cookie. We're going to add to that a couple of eggs, and again, always large eggs when we bake, and a half a cup of oil. And just to begin with, we're going to get all of those ingredients well incorporated. Make sure that those eggs are broken up and all of that dry is mixed together. And this is a very soft dough, so you don't really need to get the mixer out for this one. You can totally do this by hand, no worries at all. And this is one the kids can really help with too. Long as you're the one dicing up that candy bar. That one takes a big knife.
But they can maybe help break up the cookies a little bit.
Absolutely. You just have to keep them from eating that center once you take it apart, because we're still going to use that later, I promise. So we are just getting that all incorporated. Make sure that we scrape the bottom of the bowl well, get all of that dry cake mix incorporated in there. So it's just a very simple dough at this point. So to that, we're going to add our candy bar. And then we're going to add those chocolate cookies. And I actually took out about a tablespoon of that to set aside, because after we frost our cookies, we're going to sprinkle just a little bit of those on top.
Oh, how fun.
Because we always want to make sure that it's very obvious what kind of cookie we're making, right?
Yes.
So we frost this. Sometimes it's not quite as obvious, so sprinkle a little bit of that on top and just make sure everybody can tell exactly what they're getting when they grab those. Again, those cookie exchanges, this is going to be the first one to go, without a doubt.
Yes.
It looks so good. It looks so fancy, and like you spent so much time on it, but we're keeping it very simple. So you don't want to over mix those ingredients. We don't want to turn this into mashing that chocolate in there, but we do want to make sure that every bite is going to get some cookie pieces as well as some candy bar pieces. So when it's all mixed in, you'll kind of have some marbling to it, but it's going to be a nice soft dough that you can handle easily without it sticking to your gloves, and you'll be able to pat those into your pieces to bake. So when we come back, we're going to show you how those bake out, and we're going to make frosting for the top. Ooh. This is where we're going to come back and use that middles out of our Oreo cookies.
Well, I can't wait. They
So
already
good.
look so good. Well, thanks, Lori. We're going to be right back. Well, welcome back. Lori Langley is just showing us the steps to her recipe for cookies and cream cookies.
We are down to the last ones. So simple. We just started out with that cake mix. We've got everything well incorporated. And again, you'll end up with a dough that is pretty soft as far as scooping, but it should not be sticky. You should easily be able to pick that up without a mess. We're going to do this with a cookie scoop. You can do a little bit smaller ones if you want to, but if you want a nice generous sized cookie like the ones that I have here, use that bigger one. You're going to take those out and just kind of pat them together to kind of make sure that those cookie pieces or those candy bar pieces aren't just jutting out the side. These will spread and puff a little bit, as you'll see from my finished ones here. So this is about what I'm starting with. I'll come back over here. And this is about where you're going to finish. So spread these out a little bit on your baking sheet. You're going to give them a little bit between, probably no more than 6 on that cookie sheet as you pop them in the oven. They're going to bake a little bit higher temp, 375. I actually baked mine yesterday for only about 8.5 minutes, which is a little bit less than it's going to call for in that recipe when you go to KOAM News Now later. So don't be afraid to dial that back a little bit. You want them to be just lightly starting to turn golden on the edges and a nice rich gold bottom, but you definitely don't want to over bake them. So it's always best to err on that lesser side You can always add a little bit more if they're kind of shiny in the middle when you open that oven. So once you pull those out, you're going to set those aside, let them really cool completely. And what we did was make a super simple buttercream frosting. And that recipe is not necessarily online. You can just use a canned frosting if you want to. I did just a simple buttercream with a stick of butter, a couple of cups of powdered sugar, a little bit of vanilla. And this is where we really get some more of that cookies and cream flavor in there, because to our frosting, we went back and added those center bits of the chocolate sandwich cookies. So you're gonna blend all of that together. Go ahead and get the mixer out for that one and make sure that that's well incorporated with your butter and everything. And then we're just gonna take a piping bag. You could do this with a heavy duty Ziploc bag. Use those freezer bags for this for sure. You want to make sure that it's not going to bust on you, but this is a pretty soft, creamy frosting. It's not one that you would decorate with or anything like that. It's just supposed to stay really nice and soft and fluffy. And then we're going to pipe a pretty generous layer. I have been told these are very reminiscent of some of the big box store cookies, who we shall not name, style. So they're nice and puffy and thick. We're going to come over here. I'm going to get, there we go, behind that logo. We're just going to start from the center and be very simple and just draw a circle. Don't go overboard. Don't try and get too fancy. You don't have to go back and even smooth this. You can just do this on every single one. And then that tablespoon of those cookie crumbs that I saved out are going to be perfect to just sprinkle on there so that it's very obvious what kind of cookies these are. And this frosting will lightly set up, so it's going to make it so that down the line you can kind of stack these on your trays. But what you end up with is this really wonderful, pillowy, kind of soft, so thick. I got to get this in just the right spot for you guys to see. Super duper thick cookie and very, very soft and chewy in the middle. That frosting will set a little bit, but it still stays really creamy in the center. Perfect combination, as I said. And they're just great. They're really sweet. Perfect with that coffee on a nice cold morning like today.
If you're making these, I would invite you to all of my cookie exchanges. I'll just say that.
I do get invited to a lot.
I mean, I think it's a given. I feel like you're kind of just like, well, we know at least one will be good if Lori's here, right?
It's fair.
Well, thank you so much. These look delicious. I can't wait to eat these off air. So we'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 7:24 on this Monday morning. We're going to start with the future track. So we've got cold temperatures out there as we're getting this day started, and we have a pretty chilly day ahead of us. We're not going to do a lot of warming, but we will get some clearing done as we head into the afternoon and evening. And by this afternoon, initially southwest winds at about 5 to 10, but once we get past about 5, 6 o'clock this evening, those southwest winds begin gusting upwards of 20, and that's going to put our wind chills tonight back into the 20 to 25 degree range. Now, clouds will increase a bit overnight, eventually going partly cloudy toward Tuesday morning, and those southwest winds by about mid-morning or so, let's say after 10 a.m., will start to ramp up even more, gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour and sustained into 20. So again, if you're driving a high-profile vehicle tomorrow, just be aware it is going to be breezy out there, but it will be warmer as we head through our Tuesday. Now by Wednesday early morning, if you watch, see how clouds increase Tuesday night into Wednesday morning? When you see that wind shift line, we have a weak cold front coming through, and the reason this one's weak is it does bring our temperatures down by a little bit, and there's no precipitation at this time expected with it, but we'll get gusty northwest winds, so it will feel a little cooler on our Wednesday, but our temperatures Wednesday will still be warmer than what we're expecting today, even behind that front, and we'll still have those partly cloudy skies. Now as we go into Thursday, another front will push through, and that one, while it's still expected to be a dry front, should bring our temperatures down again. That one's going to have a little more of a punch on our temperatures. Now the clouds are going to stop moving here, but you can see the wind arrows. They keep going at least through Thursday morning, where they're still out of the south initially, but then that front begins to approach, and like I said, our temperatures will drop back behind that one. We are cloudy again this morning. As I've mentioned, we will be mostly cloudy through a good portion of the morning. Upper 20s to start, low 30s by 11 a.m. Eventually getting into highs to the upper 30s and low 40s today. And again, by this afternoon, southwest winds 5 to 10. Now, with those winds picking up, a couple of things happen. One, of course, our wind chills dropping to 20 to 25. The other is, this is not a typo. This was not me not paying attention. This is fact. Temperatures will steady out. Because even though we're not going to notice the difference down at the surface, because 35 degrees is still cold, and then you factor in gusty winds, it's going to feel cold. Aloft, that southwest breeze blowing in warmer air, and that dramatically slows our temperature drop this evening. That's why for several hours it doesn't really move much. It should eventually overnight fall back into the low to mid 30s. So again, once we start seeing these winds pick up, we're going to feel colder, but our temperatures won't do a lot of moving. And then tomorrow they do a little more moving into the mid 50s out there, and again we'll be breezy back in the low 40s, upper 30s Tuesday night. So see, that's the thing, tomorrow night our lows are about where our highs are going to be today. As we go into Wednesday, again, that front comes in the morning, and so we will be a little cooler, upper 40s, low 50s. But we won't really see, like I said, these temperatures still warmer than today as well. Back around freezing Wednesday night. Now, Thursday ahead of the front, we still make the low to mid 50s. Behind it, though, we're into the upper 20s, and then only the upper 30s Friday, and then into the upper teens Friday night. We're cold heading into this weekend with a little bit of a warm up again by next week. Let's check your forecast. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:31. I'm Samantha Walker. A federal judge in New York has ruled immigration officials illegally detained a grandmother for nearly 2 weeks. On Friday, the woman was ordered to be immediately released from ICE custody. Jennifer Bisram has the story.
An emotional reunion outside a federal court in Lower Manhattan Friday.
Right now, it's okay.
The smell of freedom and feeling of warm embrace by loved ones on this cold winter day, bringing Aissatou Diallo to tears.
So bad. Difficult.
A federal judge ruling the beloved grandmother, who works as a home health aide, be immediately released, saying she was unlawfully detained by ICE for nearly 2 weeks. Applause filled the courtroom.
The woman that cooks, the woman that takes care of her neighbors, the woman that works as a home health aide, takes care of elderly. A woman who's full of joy.
Diallo fled her home country of Guinea around 2001, fearing political persecution. Her niece, Adama Ba, founder of the nonprofit Africana, is part of Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani's transition team. She says she fought tirelessly with the help of immigration and community advocates to get Diallo home.
I've been doing this work for 20 years, and I'm always calling families and saying, hey, your relative has been detained. And this time it was my sister who called me and said, I think Auntie is detained.
We're told Diallo was detained at LaGuardia Airport November 25th while traveling to see her son in Texas. She was held at Federal Plaza and at facilities in Texas, Louisiana, and New Jersey. We reached out to ICE and have not heard back as of this report.
The government acknowledged in 2012 that she could not be deported to her country because she feared persecution or torture there.
There's no reason that grandmother should have been shackled in a courtroom, that grandmother should have been detained for weeks.
Ms. Diallo was lucky because she comes from a very hardy activist family.
A new chapter for a Queens woman who says she survived the storms of persecution now twice.
What are you going to go home and do now?
I'm going to take a shower and pray.
The Education Department will temporarily bring back about 250 federal workers placed on administrative leave last March. The department is bringing back the workers while the federal government fights efforts in the courts to cut jobs at the agency. An agency spokesperson said while that court fight plays out, it will use all of its employees to get the agency's work done. That includes several workers in the department's Office for Civil Rights. They received an email last Friday instructing them to return to work. The email said the workers can help with the department's caseload of civil rights complaints. The Trump administration has previously vowed to dismantle the Education Department. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a pretty cold start out there and cloudy, a little bit of a dreary start for us, but it will eventually clear out and we'll see some sunshine later today. Live look downtown Pittsburgh, live look 7th and Range Line, and well, it's still cloudy down there as well, but like I said, clearing skies will occur eventually. KDOT camera 69-400, looking along 171, looking good so far. Oh, that car had antlers on it. That's already gone, but that was pretty cool. I always like the little holiday festivities that people put on their car. I'm not cool enough to do that. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line, looking good as well. Our temperatures, though, again cold, 29 in Joplin, 28 in Pittsburgh, and across the area, temperatures still most of us in the mid to upper 20s. Some of our southwestern counties a pinch warmer into some low 30s. Miami, the warm spot right now at 32. At Fort Scott and Stockton, the two colder spots, both at 24 degrees. We will eventually warm up. By this afternoon, we'll start to have southwest winds about 5 to 10. Skies clearing as we head into the afternoon. Eventually clear skies later this evening. And then after about 6 o'clock or so, southwest winds will start to pick up a bit, gusting upwards of 20. So overnight tonight, we're looking at wind chills back down around 20 to 25 degrees. So be prepared for that. Another cold night. But those southwest winds bringing in warmer air tomorrow, just not today. Upper 20s by 9, mid 30s by noon, upper 30s and low 40s for our highs today, back into the mid 30s by 6. And again, by this afternoon, some southwest winds 5 to 10. Now, those gusty winds do a couple of things. As I said, give us some wind chills. They steady out our temperatures and they're bringing in warmer air. How much warmer is it going to be, you ask? Well, do not worry. I've got the answer for you in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Thanks, Chris. A window into the past opened Thursday in Kansas. After 133 years, a time capsule placed inside the cornerstone of the Franklin County Courthouse was finally unsealed. Ryan Gamboa has the story.
Curiosity lingered on democracy's front porch, anxiously awaiting the unveil of over a century of mystery.
I would think they would be full of accounts of challenges.
All at one local historian's fingertips.
For me to get to be the person to take that out, I was kind of verklempt, to be real honest.
Newspapers, Bibles, and pictures, relics from 1892 left by Franklin County settlers and founders, for their posterity giving a glimpse into Kansas's former frontier.
It's amazing. It's really amazing.
Thursday was about a community's connection as one to better understand the Ottawa tribe's local influence, early Civil War significance, and even the measly penny.
I think the penny was ironic. I can't wait to see that old coin.
Put another penny back in that box and pull it out in 100 years and it'd be the last penny minted from the government.
Learning what we can now do without, it's what our departed found value in.
There's a lot of the humanity of all these people who touch these things, who said this is important to us, these are things we value. They represent the community that we value, the service we do, the democracy we believe in.
That's the next capsule's job, and whatever's selected to stay behind.
Things that reflect who we are now.
To not forget where we've been.
100 years from now, it'll be a lot different than it is today.
Some Amtrak riders are sounding off after a train traveling from St. Louis to Chicago partially derailed. It happened on Sunday just miles from the destination. Cameron Bopp is hearing from passengers who say the biggest concern was not the jolt, but the silence that followed.
New video sent to First Alert 4 shows passengers climbing off an Amtrak train near Chicago onto snow-covered tracks, then standing around waiting for answers. Amtrak says about 250 people departed the downtown St. Louis Amtrak station around 8 a.m. Sunday. Around 1:30, part of the train slipped off the rails just miles outside Chicago.
No one there to help her.
Carla Euchman's daughter was on board.
She's heard stories but never experienced it, and because this is the way that she travels back and forth from school, she's a little bit more on edge.
Carson Pruitt was on the train as it partially derailed.
Just the light jolt. Imagine your friend pushed you on the shoulder a little bit.
Pruitt says crew members told passengers icy conditions caused some wheels to come off the tracks. Amtrak confirms this. Weather conditions, hot or cold, can affect your trip. And this isn't the first weather-related Amtrak scare in our area. Last year, emergency crews boarded a train that hit a downed tree and derailed, causing major delays. This time, it was those long delays and lack of answers that shook passengers like Cora Schroeder.
They didn't tell us what the delay was for. The conductors didn't come through. Even when I tried to get in contact with customer service, they're like, sorry, we don't have answers for you.
Passengers tell us it was hours of waiting and guessing. It's why Schroeder hopped off and called a cab.
We figured out how to unlock the train doors and then opened it.
Roughly 3 hours after going off the rails, Amtrak chartered buses to get remaining passengers to their destination.
Does it sort of make you rethink taking Amtrak going forward?
I think if it was my first time taking Amtrak, I would definitely be a bit thrown off.
Meanwhile, Schroeder says she's rethinking.
We were all kind of left in the dark. My parents are coming up here this weekend and they're taking the train, and I'm like, Like, I really hope nothing happens.
Well, coming up next, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 breaks box office records for the week after Thanksgiving. In Consumer Watch, consumer spending slowed in September while inflation climbed to its highest level in nearly a year and a half. The Commerce Department says the PCE price index, the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, rose 0.3% last month, pushing annual inflation to 2.8%. Meanwhile, Americans pulled back on buying. Spending was up just 0.3% from August and flat after adjusting for inflation. And at the box office, it was yet another weekend of sequels, with Five Nights at Freddy's 2 earning an estimated $63 million in ticket sales over the weekend. The horror flick sequel from Universal Pictures scared up the biggest opening ever for the weekend after Thanksgiving, and the largest for a PG-13 horror movie this year. The animated Disney sequel Zootopia 2 came in second, with $43 million in ticket sales, followed by Universal's Wicked for Good with just under $17 million. That's it for Consumer Watch. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, coming up on 7:45 now on this Monday morning. We're going to start with our future track, where again we have our cloudy skies now, but we'll start to have clearing as we head into the afternoon and eventually clear skies by late afternoon into the early evening hours. Now, once we get past 6 o'clock, our as we head into the afternoon, we'll start to see southwest winds about 5 to 10. Right now, winds are pretty calm. By this afternoon, they're out of the southwest 5 to 10, and then after 6 o'clock this evening, they'll start gusting upwards of 20, which will bring us some pretty chilly some cold wind chills tonight into tomorrow morning, but it also starts to bring in warmer weather. So we're looking at wind chills late this evening into tomorrow morning, about 20 to 25 degrees. So you do want to make sure that you bundle up out there. We'll have clear skies again into the evening, but after midnight, we'll start going mostly clear and eventually partly cloudy towards sunrise on Tuesday. After about 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, southwest winds, as you can see with the wind arrows here, really begin to ramp up, sustained at 10 to 20 with gusts upwards of 30. So again, if you're driving a high-profile vehicle tomorrow, you just want to be aware of that it's going to be quite breezy across the area. And we'll continue with those partly cloudy skies. Could even see some clear skies from time to time as we head through our Tuesday. Now we go into early Wednesday morning. Clouds increase a bit. We start going mostly cloudy, and that's with an approaching front. Now this cold front doesn't do much. It will bring our temperatures down just a little bit, but even that little bit will still be warmer than what our highs are expected to be today, and it will bring in gusty northwest winds, so it may feel a little cooler on our Wednesday, and we'll continue with those partly cloudy skies throughout Wednesday as well. And then another front comes in Thursday. That one's still expected to be dry, but it will have a bigger impact on our temperatures as we head into the upcoming weekend. As for the rest of this morning, though, cloudy skies again, eventually going mostly cloudy. If you look close enough, like right there, maybe right about there's a little bit of blue sky trying to peek through. As I said, we will eventually clear out. We'll be into the upper 20s to start, eventually low 30s by 11 o'clock this morning. Into the afternoon, upper 30s and low 40s. So that's what I mean. It's going to be a pretty chilly day, but at least we'll see a little more sunshine. Like yesterday, with all the cloud cover, it just makes you tired. It makes you drowsy. It's just kind of dreary out. It's a little darker out. You feel a little more tired than usual. But at least we get some sunshine today. Southwest winds again this afternoon, 5 to 10. Now, as those winds begin to increase and they start bringing in warmer air aloft, at the surface, we're not going to be able to tell the difference. It's still going to be cold. We're still going to have those wind chills. But take a look at the numbers. And that's not me being lazy. Although sometimes I can be. That's not the case here. The winds are bringing in that warmer air again aloft, and so it dramatically slows our temperature drop through the evening, kind of steadying things out, and we'll eventually be back in the low to mid 30s out there. So like I said, we won't really be able to tell that difference, but from a temperature reading side, we will be able to see that difference as things slow down. That'll put us into the mid 50s tomorrow, and even tomorrow night, our lows are still going to be about where we're expecting our highs to be today, into the upper 30s and low 40s. Now behind the front Wednesday, we are a little cooler, as I mentioned. We'll go into the upper 40s and low 50s, but again, still warmer than today. And for Thursday, not bad, into the mid 50s again, but then that cold front pushes through and we drop into the upper 20s Thursday night into Friday. We're into the upper 30s on Friday, teens Friday night into Saturday, low 30s Saturday, so cold heading into the weekend, and then a slight warm up as we head into next week. That's Check Your Forecast. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News up next.
Christian heavy metal band Stryper has released its first album of Christmas music, featuring a blend of original songs with traditional favorites. Rick Damagella reports.
A beautiful sight, we're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland.
That's Stryper and the band's new recording of the Christmas classic Winter Wonderland.
Gone away, is that bluebird, here to stay, is that bluebird.
The song is part of the band's first Christmas album, The Greatest Gift of All.
We did a Christmas single back in '85, so 40 years ago. And it was so successful, and the fans seemed to really enjoy it and love that. It became a staple in our set every year. Winter Wonderland, Reason for the Season. And then people were asking us, when are you doing an album, a full-length Christmas album? And we would just tell them, someday, someday, someday.
The album features familiar Christmas songs and original compositions.
The goal was, and the thinking behind it was, to do 5 traditionals and 5 originals. And if you notice in the sequence, it's an original, a traditional, an original, a traditional. And it goes back and forth that way. And that was on purpose. Because it kind of checks all the boxes in terms of something new, something powerful, and something that really steers you in the direction of what Christmas should be about. And that's not getting caught up in the crowds or shopping and going in debt with money things you can't afford, and getting in arguments with family and over politics. It's none of the above. It's about Christ. That's what Christmas is. That's what it should be.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damagella.
Well, it sounds like a long-awaited project that fans have been waiting for quite some time. Well, now here's Chris with some weather.
Yeah, and again, we are going to eventually clear out. I know it's very cloudy out there this morning, but we will get some sunshine later in this afternoon. Southwest winds 5 to 10. Those winds begin increasing later this evening into the overnight. So our wind chills tonight, pretty cold, around 20 to 25. Well, partly cloudy skies to start our Tuesday and continuing throughout our Tuesday, but those southwest winds will ramp up, gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour, but they do bring in some warmer air for us across the area, which will certainly be a nice shift from where we've been. There's those cloudy skies from 7th and Rangeline, again clearing, eventually taking place into the afternoon. Between here and there, mostly cloudy, upper 20s to start, low 30s by 11 a.m. Another look at your forecast and the Wake Up Recap after this.
This is your Wake Up Recap for December 8th, your top stories to start your day. Yesterday, the holiday spirit was in the air in Carl Junction. The community gathered for the annual Christmas parade presented by the CJ Lions Club. Lineup began at 1 p.m. on Broadway between the schools, with the parade kicking off at 2 p.m. Residents and visitors alike saw an afternoon filled with lights, laughter, and community celebration as families came together to enjoy the festive event. The Bronson community came together for a long-standing tradition supporting the volunteer fire department. Funds raised will help add more LED lights to their trucks, making them safer and more visible during nighttime emergencies. The event featured silent auction items donated by local organizations, along with door prizes like fire extinguishers and smoke detectors. That's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
And to check of that forecast, again, a chilly day out there, but we'll finally see a little bit of the sunshine as we go into the upper 30s, low 40s, southwest winds 5 to 10. They'll start gusting upwards of 20, I'd say after about 6 o'clock. And because they're bringing in that warmer air aloft, we won't feel it again at the surface, but it slows down our temperature drop. Eventually, though, back in the low 30s, and our wind chills tonight, 20 to 25 degrees. So be prepared for a cold start to our Tuesday, but be prepared for a warmer Tuesday, mid-50s out there. Southwest winds gusting to 30. A weak cold front comes in Wednesday, putting us into the upper 40s, low 50s. Warm on Thursday, and then another cold front really drops us down. Pretty cold heading into the weekend, and then another warm up by next week.
Well, sounds good. Thanks, Chris. In the wake of its announcement that it is buying Warner Brothers and HBO Max, Netflix is reassuring subscribers that nothing is changing, at least for now.
For the record, my brothers and I are not for sale. Well, Netflix sent an email to its subscribers Friday titled Welcoming Warner, I can't even say my own name, Warner Brothers to Netflix. In it, they say, quote, nothing is changing today, and Netflix and Warner Brothers will continue to operate separately until the deal closes.
This was reiterated in a frequently asked questions section where Netflix said nothing is changing with the subscribers' concurrent plan.
So that's good to know, I suppose. That is all you need to know for now. We'll be back with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.